Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Questioning a better way, one gracefully disruptive conversation at a time.
Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila. I'm so excited to be with you here today. As always, we have a very exciting guest in the house, officially international. I'm excited about this. We're in very different time zones, but it's always cool when we're like connecting worldwide. So we're gonna have an amazing health and wellness conversation. Before we jump in, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Colorado Clownfish Swim School. They are local and family owned, and they do water safety and swim lessons and training for all ages. So go waterproof your family today. You can check them out at coloradoclownfish.com. And our very own Declan James watches. They are local and veteran owned, and 10% of all their proceeds go back to the Navy SEAL Foundation. So go check them out. Without further ado, I want to introduce James McWhinney from Premium Grounding. James, welcome to TNT.
Thanks for having me, Kristen. Happy to be here.
Yes. So James is in Australia. I'm going to read your bio. I don't always do that, but then we're going to dive right in because this dude has done a lot. But James is a Melbourne-based wellness entrepreneur focused on human optimization and health innovation. As founder and CEO of multiple health ventures, he builds practical solutions to real-world well-being challenges. He is the founder of Premium Grounding, a company dedicated to making grounding and earthing accessible at home through innovative products designed to improve recovery, sleep, and overall health. I'm going to let James run with this, but this is awesome because if you know me and you listen to our show, I've been in the health and wellness game, which is wild, for over 20 years. I've seen and done just about everything, particularly in the CrossFit space. So any edge I can get as an athlete that's older, that's trying to stay in the mix, I'm here for. And I love 2026 because I connected with James over Instagram. They sent me some product, and I've actually got one of the things for me and my pups here. It's a very simple setup. It's really cool. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll dig in. But I was skeptical, but I absolutely love it. So they already have my endorsement. But before we get into all that, James, tell us about you. I always wondered about the human behind the mission before we get to all the exciting mission details. Tell me about you as a kid and like if this entrepreneurial seeking was like in the stars very early on.
I think it started pretty early. I've got my mum to thank. My mum has always really been into health and wellness. And so my friends used to come around and be like, oh man, there's nothing to eat. We just had nuts and fruit and just healthy stuff that kids don't want to eat when you're younger. But As a kid, I probably didn't love it. But as I've grown up, I'm just so thankful that my mum was always into health and wellness, and she probably pushed me along this path. And I always just saw people like stressed and busy when I was young, and I just sort of wanted to avoid that when I grew up. So I was always interested in starting business because I thought if you start a business, then you're less likely to be stuck in that 9 to 5 sort of grind. That was my mindset when I was younger. And I guess as I've grown older, I've realized that you still need to grind it if you want to be an entrepreneur. But I've always been interested in, I guess, coming up with new ideas to different things. And grounding's one of those, but probably like you, I've tried almost every trend and everything that's happened to come along, every diet I've tried, and I'm just always looking to optimize. And one thing that I think I'm really trying to help people with right now is connecting back to nature, just because I feel like as a society, we've just moved so far from how we used to live, and that's causing issues and it's making us stressed and we're having health problems. And so that's an area that I've really zoned in on. And it's why I'm so interested in grounding, because I feel like it helps bring us back to nature. And maybe it's only a few percent, but it's better than, the lives that we're living where we're constantly wired in and we're surrounded by Wi-Fi and cell signals and not really touching the ground very much.
Absolutely. It's wild how fast things are moving. And I'm with you. The nature connect. I feel like the deeper we get into the science, the more we go back to like, no, just go outside and touch the grass. Like do the simple thing that we spent millions of dollars to figure out and time and energy, but it's so real. Was there one experience that you had? Was it like a breakdown and breakthrough that's like, God, I gotta do things different. I gotta reconnect to nature. I gotta do something. Was there one situation that stood out to you more than anything else?
There's a couple, I think, but the main thing for me was I've always been a chronic bad sleeper, and it's always taken me forever to get to sleep. And then if I do get to sleep, I'm waking up at like 2, 3, 4 a.m. with that high cortisol spike. So that's always been something I've been really keen to fix. And I realized that high cortisol can be fixed by being out in nature. So that was one big thing for me. The other was that I work and sit in front of a computer every day running a business. I can't really avoid it, but I used to find I'd get to like 2 or 3 p.m. and I'd just have this crazy brain fog. So every morning I'd start the day fresh and feel pretty good. And then as the day went on, my brain just wouldn't. I'd get like I'd think of something and then I'd immediately forget it, and then I'd be stuck for the next minute thinking about what was I supposed to do, and that was happening every day. And I realized that had a lot to do with being surrounded by. I was next to my modem and right next to my electricity boss and things like this, and I realized that that was causing that, and completely removed that by being grounded whilst I was working. So they were probably the two main things that sort of pushed me down this grounding path.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay. So I've tried to explain this because you guys sent me a product and I was like, I think it's going to work, whatever. And I put it on my bed and I actually put out my mats for my dogs and then one under my desk. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to work, whatever. I kind of forgot about it. And I was talking to my mom and I'm like, she's like, how have you been this past week? I'm like, good. I'm like, honestly, I've been getting really good sleep. And then the light bulb went off and I'm like, you know what? I put on these grounding sheets. She's like, what's that? I tried to explain it. So I'm going to have you explain it correctly. But I was like, oh my God, this actually works. Like I was faithful, but I'm like, I just noticed this deeper, relaxed like feeling. And the real kicker for me, I noticed my dogs. I've got 3 dogs and 2 dog beds in the house. I kept anytime I couldn't find one, I would go in the other room and they were on, one of them was on the mat. So it kind of blew my mind. Animals always know more than humans. But tell us about like the science of what these sheets are, but what is the science behind it that actually makes it a grounding situation? Or maybe even before that, tell us what like grounding really is.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'll start from what grounding is. But yeah, we hear that a lot about pets. The pets find the grounding mats and just lay on them all day. So grounding in its purest form is connecting with the earth. So barefoot, bare skin, touching the grass, sand, soil, anything natural. And science now shows that connecting to the ground has many positive health experiences. So there's 25 peer-reviewed studies now that show essentially that it reduces inflammation, it reduces cortisol, people feel calmer. And that's because the earth is negatively charged and there's energy coming up through the earth, which sounds really wacky and a bit like woo-woo, but it's science. Yeah. And so our bodies are positively charged. And when the negative ions from the earth come up into our body, it reduces free radicals and it reduces inflammation. So that's just the science fact. Where people become really skeptical is when we start telling them about our grounding products. And I get it because I was incredibly skeptical when someone recommended grounding products to me when I first heard about it. But like you, about a week later, I realized I was sleeping so much better and feeling so much better. So essentially what grounding products are, and the main ones that most people have heard about are grounding bed sheets. Essentially, it's a sheet that goes on your bed and it's got conductive material in it. So that can be stainless steel or silver. And then the wire it plugs into the outlet of your standard electrical system, but it doesn't actually conduct electricity. It conducts the earth cable. So in America and Australia, there's 3 prongs on the plug. The bottom prong connects to a cable that literally goes into the ground. It's pulling up the earth's energy. And because the sheet has the conductive materials in it, you're literally, when you're sleeping, it's literally like standing barefoot on the grass. And so you get all those benefits. Which it sounds pretty wacky when you try it there. And a lot of people will use a grounding sheet and then they'll go away for a few nights and come back and be like, oh my gosh, I just feel so much more lethargic than when I was sleeping on the grounding sheet. And it's a really common story. But yeah, in general, most people just get less inflammation pain, less joint pain, deeper sleep, and just feel more energetic when they wake up in the mornings.
Yeah. Well, and as someone, I mean, we've done it all either between like supplements and IVs and like certain exercise machines, whatever. This one is just such a no-brainer. You throw it on your bed or put it on the floor for your dogs, and that's it. And I think it was almost like too easy. It made too much sense that I'm like, there's no way. And then it worked. I'm like, this is a no-brainer. Even if you're skeptical, throw it on your bed and just see. It's just so easy. Like you don't have to consume or, IV or anything. It's easy. And on Turmeric Tequila, we're here for the woo. I love that. But usually when you boil down like the woo, it breaks down to like physics and science, and it's way more scientific than it is just like energy and like witchcraft. But it worked. Tell me about some of like the major success stories that you've had, or that people have come back to you and been like, this really worked, this changed X, or my kids, were better behaved in school or something like that.
Oh, we've had so many incredible stories. We've got over 30,000 customers now. So we hear different stories from people from all walks of life. But the 2 that stand out, one was a lady in her 30s and she had a chronic shoulder pain and she couldn't lift her arm above her shoulder. She hadn't been able to lift her arm above her shoulder for over 2 years. She'd seen every specialist. She's tried every medication. And one day someone recommended grounding sheets to her. And she said within a month, she was able to lift her arm above her shoulder, first time
Wow.
in years. And she just could not believe it. The specialist couldn't believe it. The doctors said, most doctors aren't really aware of grounding. And so they sort of rubbish it a little bit. But yeah, she was in incredible pain for so long. And just from sleeping grounded, she was able to lift her arm again. Like stories like that are pretty cool. We heard of someone who had chronic varicose veins in their calf, their lower leg, and he stood on a grounding mat every day for about a year whilst he was like this, like in front of a computer, and the varicose veins went away. And then one story that really, I guess, hits home for me and like makes me feel really proud to run the business is one customer called me up one day and she was buying her fifth grounding sheet for her family. The fourth one, and I asked her, like, how's it all going? You've bought five, like, you must be enjoying it. The fourth one she bought was for her granddaughter who has neurodiverse issues and like chronic mood issues and just couldn't regulate her emotions. And they tried everything. She sees a psychologist every week and there's medication and she could just never control her emotions. But they put this bed sheet on her bed without telling her. And within a week, her ability to control her mood and her emotions completely changed, so much so that they took her to a weekly psychologist appointment and they asked her, what have you changed?
Yeah.
Something's like completely different in this young girl. And so she was calmer. She was able to go to school again. Just all these things that, like just living a natural, normal life that where she couldn't do before, she was able to after she started grounding, which is just incredible.
It's crazy. That's insane. So being on the front lines, I'm kind of the human that like I go on vibes. I like science and research, but even studies can be funded and I'm like, whatever. So I like to hear this where I'm so passionate about influencer marketing or word of mouth because you believe your humans around you that have done, I'm not going to be the doctor. I'm going to go to the doctors I know that I trust to get, the good word. Are you guys seeking to do any sort of like research or your own studies or outside of like this incredible feedback you get? Like, are you doing anything to where it's like, no, we got this, but we're going to do our own study or show this or put data or anything like that together?
We've started thinking about this. Yeah, we're looking into how we can run a study that's, I guess, big enough so that people really get behind it, but also we need to figure out a way because we're obviously selling these products. We need to figure out a way that we can do it really impartially. So yeah, it's something we're working through right now. So the biggest thing we're leaning on is the reviews that we get from our customers and the testimonials. But yeah, to be able to do a study and just show to remove all that skepticism that a lot of people get would be really incredible.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, the
I was
stories
just
that
gonna
customers.
Sorry.
No, go on.
We got a delay, so we're going back and forth. But yeah, I was going to say, as a marketing professional, I think you guys are doing it perfectly. Like, get your right voices, get it in there, and the believers will believe. And then you can do the science on the back end. I just think it's cool if you had both because you can be like, we got both. Here's what it is.
100%. Yeah, I think most people get around the story behind grounding because, and I think about pets as well. Pets 100 years ago were not sleeping indoors. They weren't on artificial surfaces. They were just outside 24/7 connecting with the earth. And humans were the same. Like, we're sleeping so far off the ground now. We wear rubber-soled shoes every day, and we're all sort of going through some sort of health issue. Dogs are it's like a 63% chance to get cancer or diabetes now.
Oh, wow.
It's just a wild number, and like
Yeah.
we just didn't see things like this 100 years ago. And so I think people get behind that story to start with, and then when they hear about all the transformations that their friends and family get from sleeping grounded, that sort of helps them to get over the line. Because yeah, I get it. People are skeptical in the first year, but yeah, when you hear about some of the stories from people just feeling incredible, it really helps.
It's everything. Well, and I want to get into that because we've got a lot of leaders and coaches and entrepreneurs that listen to this show. So I love this is why I always ask about the human behind the mission. I love that this is like your passion piece. You're not only a skilled business human with business acumen, but this is like really stems from your heart space. What business advice do you have launching a startup, particularly in health and wellness, where it's really, really hard to get started and or just maybe words of advice about how you stay in the game?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this is probably my eighth business, and I've had ones that I've tried and failed, but I think this is the one that I've really had the most passion behind. So it's driven me, particularly through the first 6 months, where I probably sold 50 products in the first 6 months, and I was losing money. But I think, when you really are passionate about something, it's easier to get out of bed and keep moving forward, even when the results aren't really showing it. But I think the key thing is to start small, test the market with your idea, and just keep pushing forward if you truly believe in it. And sometimes you have to cut your losses, but I think you know deep down if you should keep pushing. And so, yeah, the first 6 months we probably sold about 50 grounding sheets, and last year we sold about 20,000. So it's like it was a slow build up, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere. And I feel like this is in life, like the more you push, like, you don't see results for a while, but then eventually something clicks, and then it's like trying to support you and push you forward.
Heck yeah. Oh man, it's
Yeah.
so hard. How did you know from a marketing perspective to, or tell me some about your strategy? Because I was really impressed that like you guys get the influencer piece and like even seeding kind of unknowingly. Like some companies get so caught up, like, should we send it? Should we not? And I'm like, listen, you should do, because my consulting agency, that's like, we specialize in strategic partnerships and influencers. But some companies are like, no, we don't want to send it. There's no ROI. And I'm like, dude, this is like the part that's hard to measure. But getting the product in hand and getting people to actually use it and try it is the most important thing. How did you navigate your marketing strategy, or where did this seed get planted?
So we really believe in the product and the idea behind it, but we just feel like not many people have heard about it. So when people ask me what I do for work, I feel like 1 in 20 might actually know what grounding and grounding sheets are. And so we just, from an early stage, we just thought we just want to get the word out. And we know that if we're putting quality products out into the world, then people are going to recommend them. So yeah, for us, we just look for people with a voice in health that are supporting some form of natural therapy or a natural way of living. So we don't target people who are just like doctors who are just saying like, take these pharmaceuticals, take these drugs.
Yeah.
We're actively looking for people who are aligned with, I guess, what we want to put out into the world.
Mhm.
And yeah, so we send out products to some people, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we just feel like the more we get the word out there, the more it's going to spread. And yeah, who knows how many people sleep with a grounding sheet now? But I feel like in 5 or 10 years, it's going to be quite a high percentage. Like I really believe in it because we hear what happens when people sleep on them. So yeah, we just want to push the word out, and we're really confident that we've got a high quality product that people are going to want to get behind.
Amen. Let's go. So we've got the science, but I am really curious because this entrepreneurship, man, you got to be connected with the heart because, like you said, there's really hard days. Tell me about like religion, spirituality, manifesting. Like, where are you on like the woo side of things, and how important to you is that to the business? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's interesting question, and I don't talk a lot about this sort of thing in spirituality. I'm a pretty pragmatic guy, but before this business, for about 3 months, every night when I went to bed, I started saying to myself, I want to help millions of people around the world to live healthier and happier lives. And I just said it every night. I don't know where it even came from. I was reading a bit of Joe Dispenza at the time, so maybe that sort of prompted me. But I just said that every night, just like no matter what happened, every night I went to bed, I'd say that. And then all of a sudden, this idea came to my head like 3 months later, and here we are today, and it's quite a successful business. So whilst I'm quite pragmatic, I really believe that there's a greater force out there, whatever you want to call it, that will support you if you let it flow through you. And I think we all get in our own way. Like we've all got beliefs that are formed when we're younger that get in the way of us being the best that we can, whether that's from like a relationships or business or whatever part of our lives. So I'm constantly trying to think about what that negative belief or limiting belief is and how I can push it aside. Actually, just the last few days, I just named that voice in my head. I feel like we've all got a fearful voice in our head. So I just named it Fearful Freddy. And so every time I get some sort of voice in my head that's not aligning with the direction I want to head, I just say, oh, that's just Fearful Freddy trying to protect me. And I don't need it right now, which probably sounds a bit crazy. But yeah, I guess I'm just always thinking about how can we let life or God or whatever it is flow through us as much as possible.
Hey, amen. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's so awesome because turmeric and tequila, you can be both things, logical, want a science, want the data. And then on the other side, let go just enough to believe in something bigger. And this, like you, is something I work on consistently because type A, figure it out, train harder, read more books, do all the things. Also, just chill out and let go and like
Yeah.
believe that somehow, I say God, universe, Madonna, I'm a big Madonna fan, is going to show up and like somehow take care of the journey, which is really uncomfortable. And in transparency, I don't take a lot of products on the show. Like it's not about promotion, but your setup, your situation, your story stood out. And I was like, oh my God. And then when it worked, I was like, all right, let's get these humans on the mic because I think think that's it. So I think there is some sort of like universal order of like the right things come into my world, very organically without me searching. And I see that when I ask entrepreneurs that come on the show, I'm like, tell me about this. Like, yeah, we did everything. And then one day, like something happened, something downloaded and it happened. Do you have like any sort of quote or human you look up to or any piece of advice that you go to navigate around Fearful Freddy or anything else?
Oh, it's probably a mix, really. Like I'm always trying to learn as much as possible, and so that's across different authors or presenters and podcasters and things like that. But the one I've been coming back to the last probably 2 years is Joe Dispenza, just because I really agree with how he says that your beliefs essentially shape your lives, and the beliefs affect your emotions affect your actions, and that's also before you even think about all the spiritual stuff and how you bring stuff in. Joe Dispenza is a big one. But I do love a mix of different authors. Like I think each has their own place. Tony Robbins is good for like getting you up and about when you need that little prompt. There's a guy called Robin Sharma who wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and now he's probably written about 10 different books, but I think has a lot of great advice as well. But I just try to take what I can from everyone. I agree. I think people come into your lives at a certain time to try to teach you something. And so it's figuring out what is that thing that you're supposed to learn and how can you take it with you and leave everything else behind.
Yeah, amen. Isn't it wild how even as we get older, it's like you're almost like realizing how much you don't know and how much there is to learn. And it's just this constant evolution of just getting better, but also resting and not freaking out. And does that balance keep you up at all? Or is that a hard thing for you to do?
Not so much now. It used to
Okay.
be. So like I feel like when I step back and try to remove myself from the grind, life sort of becomes easier and results become better. It's like this weird thing where when I push too hard, the results don't really work out the way I want them to. But yeah, these days I've got 2 kids, so I'm just trying to find that balance of being, I guess, having a business and trying to provide, but also just being chilled, being present for my kids and wife, and yeah, letting life flow through me.
Amen. Man, I think universe just put you here to tell me that where I'm like, no, we're gonna do more. I'm so excited about this. Like I can't sit still. Then it's like, woo, it's happening. Just hang on, man. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, at this point
Sometimes
in
when
the
we try to
game,
force it,
yeah,
forcing it sometimes it doesn't quite work out the way we want it to.
I know. How many times do you think that takes to learn that? Like, how many more times do you think I have before we'll actually let go? Like, at least a few? Was that like 3 or 4 times for you, or is it still kind of going?
I think it keeps happening until you stop, until you learn the lesson, right? Like
Yeah.
tries to keep teaching you.
Yeah. Well, I think you like learn, you forget, and then you learn it again. And like every time
Mm.
you get a little bit warmer, but I don't know. I think it's something that also just keeps you really, really humble, which I'm not mad about.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, at this point in the game, I mean, you've had successful businesses, family, you've got balance mentally. What would you define as success at this point in the game?
Right now, like the phase of my life we were just talking before we started the recording, I've got a 6-week-old baby. So for me, it's just like being here for my family, for my wife, supporting as much as I can. I don't think I've ever felt as happy as when I'm just fully giving myself and helping out with my family. So right now, that's the phase I'm going through, and I hope to stay here for a long time. And then from a personal and business perspective, I just want to try to help as many people as possible, which probably sounds corny, but I know the more people that I help, the more fulfilled I'll be, and the business results tend to work out for themselves. So, yeah, just trying to take the foot off the gas a little bit
Yeah.
and relax more, be present, whilst also continue something that's going to help people.
Hey, I really do. I think the more life goes on, it's just living that life of service, however you're purposeful, that it kind of just hits. Like we all have our different abilities and angles on life, and it's just finding a way to give back one way or another. Tell us about where do we find you guys? Instagram, social media, any websites? Where can we stalk you guys at?
You can find us at grounding.com. And if you search Premium Grounding on TikTok or Instagram, you'll find us there as well. If you want to learn more about grounding, we've got a lot of blogs and resources on the website that sort of just try to guide you through how it all works and answer any questions. So yeah, jump on and take a look if you'd like.
I love it. And transparency, I have an affiliate link, so I'll be posting that when this podcast come out. We'll be doing some other social media. And if you know me, I'm hyper picky on who I align with, who we work with. Our partner list has been very short, and we're in year 8 of this podcast. So it's a very tight mix. So I really do believe in these guys, and I love what it does. And if my dogs could write a review, I know it would be a glowing one. So do go check them out. And to my athletes, I don't know if you guys have ventured into the CrossFit space or high intensity training, but I'm telling you, this is such an easy thing to do to get like that one more level up. So I really, really suggest this for my athletes. Do you guys have anything coming up? Are you going to be out in the States by chance, or are there any events you're a part of that we should know about?
Not right now. We've been focusing, like I'm in Australia, obviously. So we've been focusing on some events here. But the US is now our biggest market. And so we're starting to think about how can we get out there more and get around the athletes and the events and things like that. So watch this space. I think hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be doing more in-person events in the US.
I love it. Okay, we'll have some ideas there because the collaboration, the team thing is always my thing. But I love this. I love what you guys are doing. I'm excited to see it grow. Again, phenomenal products. But if you're an entrepreneur out there or a leader or coach, I really suggest you follow their social media and see what James and his team are doing, because marketing wise with the startup and whatnot, and like how they're positioning things, I think there's a ton of business intel that's done really, really well. So go check them out for a multitude of reasons. But any final words or anything you want to leave for us, James?
No, really, no. I just really appreciate you having me on, Kristen. And I love your energy and love everything you're putting out there. So thank you so much. And if anyone has any questions for us, then jump on our website or send us an email, and we're happy to help.
I love it. I always have 100 more questions, but we'll keep it tight for our listeners' sake. And hopefully we'll have more coming down the road, and I'll continue to review and share my experience. I do want to give a shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Colorado Clownfish Swim School. They are swim lessons and water safety training for all ages. They believe in life skills through sports. So go check them out today and waterproof your family. James at Premium Grounding, go check out what they have going on. I'll have a link posted in all of our socials and everything else. This video will be on YouTube, and our podcast will be wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great day and take care of you and yours. Cheers.
Thank you for joining Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Tune in next time, and don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.